vulnerable right now. I'm about to weep.
Creative ways we ride all day. Let's go. Turn it up, don't stop. It's that culture shock, drop. New voices in your headphone now. Big visions from a scribble notepad. From the block to the boardroom, see it. JL Stone about to make you feel it.
Ideas in the air like confetti. Every story in the room, stay ready. Press play, get pulled in slow. Then the beat hit hard when you feel that glow. Oh.
This is Culture Shock Pod with JL Stone.
Where the culture talks back and the wild minds roam.
From the canvas to the screen, to the pen, to the phone.
If you're chasing that spark, you are not alone.
Culture Shock Pod with JL Stone.
What's up, Culture Shock family, and welcome back. Man, I want to say Culture Shock Season 2 has been absolutely amazing. We've had some incredible guests that have come through the Culture Shock studio just to give us laughs, give us insight, and give us wisdom. And so I want to say thank you to all of our subscribers, everybody that's been rocking with us, that's been commenting. I really, really appreciate the love and support. I am excited about today's guest, as this is probably one of the few people in the world that know me better than anybody else. And I've been saving this moment to bring this guest on just because, I wanted to make sure that I had all my P's and Q's together. And so listen, some know her as Pastor T, some know her as T-Rock, T-Stone, but I affectionately call her Mama. And so Culture Shock Pod, let's clap it up for my mama being in the studio. Let's clap it up for Mama Tefe Stone. Woo! Glad to have you on, Ma. How you feeling?
I'm doing good. I feel fine.
She nervous too. I don't know why everybody be nervous when they come to the studio.
Cause ain't no telling what you gonna say.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice. We're gonna have a good time, good day. But y'all, my mom was one of my growing up. Your mama used to tell you I ain't one of your little friends. And then when you get older, she become one of your little friends.
For sure.
So my mom was one of my best friends. And so let's jump into it because I know we got a busy day today. I'm going to give you two icebreakers. I'm going to give you a question. If you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be?
Superpower. I would like to be able to see, like really see, I guess see the future. That was something I would like to see the future, like clearly. But yeah.
Okay, gotcha. If what do you want people to remember you by?
Just being a kind person.
Okay.
That's what I would love, just people to know me from, like, because a lot of people know me from different walks of life. Mm-hmm. And so one thing that I want them all to have in common is she was very kind, a kind-hearted person.
Until you hit that button and then you realize I get my mean streak from somewhere.
Well, you have a lot of my characteristics, I must say, but
speaking of my characteristics, I'm gonna ask you this. What was I like as a little boy?
Now, how did I know this question was coming up? And that goes back to kindness. And people ask me that all the time. How was Jeremy as a kid? I bet he was bad, yada, yada. But coming up from being a baby, you were the best. Out of you and your brother, you were the best baby. You were very...
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Is that on camera?
He was the best baby out of him and his brother. And so that's why when Jordan came along, I was like, what is wrong with this kid? He's not Jeremy. But you were a very kind-hearted kid. You really were. I think as you got older, the cares of life caused you to be more cautious with people. But you were literally very kind-hearted. You were very giving. Elementary school, you would give people your shoes, your clothes. Middle school, and Jeremy don't know I know this, but you would sneak your little homeless friends in the house because they didn't have nowhere to go. I mean, you were very kind-hearted. Like, you cared about people's feelings. And when they didn't have, you was like, Mama, can we do this? Grandma, can we do that for such and such? But they don't have it, you know. And I don't think you realize how bad we were struggling.
No, I didn't.
And everything was like, you were very, very kind-hearted kid. Very.
What's one thing about me that never changed with the older I got?
I would say your sense of humor that you did get from me. Your sense of humor. And your sense of knowing what you wanted out of life and sticking to it, regardless of what we said or the path that we wanted you to take. Yeah, it was that you sticking to what your heart's desire and moving forward, you know.
I got my first degree. I got my bachelor's for my mama and because of my mama.
Oh, wow.
Because you remember, when I was in my senior year of high school, I said I wanted to go to seminary.
Oh, yeah.
And you said, boy, you need to go to college and get you a real degree.
I just didn't see seminary as being a legalized degree. I'm like, okay, you already know how to preach.
So I said, well, let me go to college and let me get a real degree so that we won't have these problems. But I got it. And I also saw you when we were growing up. I remember when you was pursuing your degree. And how grandma would come over and make sure we ate, make sure we got into bed. He was going to night school and growing up. And I want to ask you this because I feel like because we're a small family, we're a close-knit family, but I also feel like we didn't do a lot for the family.
Gotcha.
Everything was about church.
Oh, God,
we did everything about church. So as a mom, do you feel like we should have taken more trips or did more family vacations? Like, what is it about how you brought us up that you wish you could have did differently?
I say that all the time, and sometimes I regret allowing church just to be 90% of my life. You know what I'm saying? And I think that came from growing up in church and my mama, you know, your grandma. Everything about her was church. And so she was in a diehard Pentecostal church, diehard holiness, like, you know, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that, we couldn't wear this, we couldn't wear that. And as all of that was instilled in us. And so as I got older, I was like, man, I wish, you know, my friends were taking trips. And it was a fear, to be honest with you. It was like a deep down fear of, well, if I do this or if we do that, then we might miss church. You know, it was crazy, but that was my mindset at the time. And Lord knows I do regret, you know, a lot of family time that I think we could have spent outside of the church doing things with you and Jordan that financially I probably could have done better. And then taking y'all places and let y'all experience and stuff. That's why now when I see you guys doing things that I had the fear of doing, it blesses me. Like, they're always on the plane, you know. They're always going somewhere. They're always doing
Jordan jumping out of planes. And Eric and Regina did stuff that I just didn't do because of church, you know. And I allowed that to be a heavy part of my decision making and who I was, and then realizing I wasn't really being my full potential of who God had called me to be. And I'm thinking it's just my platform was just in that building, in the building of church. When realizing that on my job, that that was a platform for me. So yeah, I think about that all the time. Like, I could have did this, I should have did that, but my boys are doing it now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud of you guys for that. But there was always this certain fear that I think that was instilled in me from church people of, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you know. Yeah, it was looking back over it. I'm like, shh. If I had known then, if I would have known that
God still loved me.
I mean, even if I didn't go to church. Leah told me the other day, she said, you don't have to go to church all the time. You don't have to go to church this week, Daddy. And I'm like, well, you got school clothes and you need shoes for school. You better let me go to church. But I think about that with how I'm raising Leah.
Yeah.
and I want her to grow up in church, but I don't want that to be the substratum of her life.
Right.
Whereas for me, it worked because I love church. I love going to church. I wanted to preach. I wanted to be a preacher. I wanted to, I would sneak and put grandma robes on when nobody was home. So that was fine with me. But as I got older and I started experiencing a little bit more of life, I realized we could have did this a little bit more. We could have took more trips, or we could have, had more family time, or we could have got out of church a little earlier to spend time doing, something else. So
we didn't have to have 5 services in one day.
I mean, leaving and getting on the road to go to another service, then get on the road to go to another service. And for people who are in that lifestyle, like me and Eric understand it has its benefits. But for when we was coming up, it wasn't beneficial for us.
Right.
You go do 5 services and if they taking care of you, it's worth going to 5 services.
Yeah.
But if you're going to 5 services now and all you getting is refreshments in the back,
that's all we were getting.
Exactly.
Wasn't for, and if you, and as a child, when Mama used to go minister, because she was an evangelist and she preached everywhere, and I was always there with my unsaved self, just still going. You know what I'm saying? Because that was my foundation, and I was always supportive of her in her ministry. And so a lot of times she didn't get paid. She preached her butt off. You know what I'm saying? And preached, prophesied, prayed, and you just waiting on a piece of cake and some cookies.
And a piece of fried chicken.
Yeah. And it was like, okay. I didn't realize until you came along and started getting honorariums. I'm like, why is people... I thought it was crazy that pastors were getting, paid to come and preach. Because I'm like, I've never seen that. Like, wow.
It was unheard of. Because for us, we was taught this your reasonable service.
Yeah.
And then as I got older and got mentors, it was like, yes, this is your reasonable service, but you got to put your clothes in the dry cleaners. You sweating out your suits. You driving. That's gas. You spending time away from your family. That could be something. That's an investment. And giving me that perspective allowed me to kind of, even with grandma, like when I was handling her books and she would go out and preach, and I'm like, you can't do it. You can't do all of that you're doing and then want somebody they don't even want to get you a hotel room.
Right.
And I had kind of got her spoiled because she said somebody told her one time, somebody had tried to put her up in a hotel. And she said, my grandson don't put me up in nothing like this. So I was like, that's right. You stick to your guns. But and also in my older years, to be able to say, okay, when I go preach, like I took y'all with me to North Carolina, and if I'm going somewhere and I want to take y'all so that y'all can see there is a greater side of excellence to ministry that you can receive, and people will honor you. So I thank God for my upbringing, but sometimes I'm just like, man, maybe my mama shouldn't have whooped me so much and just took me to go, maybe we should just went to Orlando or something.
Oh, somewhere. I thought about one time, and I don't know if I get tickled about it or just like, I came to the school to pick you up, to take you out for lunch. And I was like, I got some time. I'm going to go get Jeremy. I'm surprise him and I'm going to take him out to lunch. We're just going to hang out. And I go to the school and you sitting in the front office. So I'm thinking, what God, did he know I was coming?
That thing broke my heart.
And the principal was like, oh, he did such and such. And so I was going to send him to ISS. And I'm like, why did you do that? And he said, well, do you want to take him? I said, no, he's going to have to feel this punishment. And boy, you hollered and screamed. You was so mad. Don't leave me.
I was pissed because at that time I really didn't do what they said I did. I was so heated. Oh, I was heated. And we was in the office, felt like all day trying to get that. But I let that lady that I prime example of sticking, I should have stood my ground. I let that lady convince me. And even the little girl she said I hit came back and said he didn't hit me. I did. I saw you. I'm like, I'm getting upset all over again. Anyway.
So glad we
that's still a little soft spot for me. Because that lady, though, she pissed me off. All right. Yeah. Okay about that? What's one thing that you got in trouble for the most growing up?
Talking too much. And I think that's one of my traits that you have.
That's what I got in trouble for the most too.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I talked too much and I did a lot of just like too much talking respectfully. And I think yours came from the side of I'm gonna say what's on my mind and I'm gonna say it. Y'all gonna let me say it, and I'm gonna let you get done. That's how you will. You like I'm gonna let y'all get done, but I'm still gonna say what's on my mind. And you've always been that kid, just because when you learn how to talk, you was like, I got something to say, and so me and Mama used to be like, no, wait, don't say it out loud. Tell us first, because we never knew what was gonna come out of your mouth. Tell us first. I was like, tell your grandma first, and so we can okay whatever you getting ready to say.
You had to filter it.
Yeah, we had to filter what you were gonna say, but you always told the truth, and you always got in trouble for talking. You literally would tell the teacher, but you didn't say that. If she said something that you did, and you would say, no, that's not what you said, and you would always do verbatim, like whatever they said. And I always be like, Jeremy, just tell me. You can't talk back to the teacher. You can't, no, she lied, but she's lying. She's not telling the truth. That was you. I'm like, you can't say that. You can't call the teacher a liar,
Maybe Leah do have a couple of my traits.
Oh, Leah has a lot of your traits. Like she is Madam Talk a lot. She's you times 3.
Nah, she do talk.
Yeah. But that was my thing. I talked too much. Mama used to always pop me in the mouth all the time for talking too much. Yeah.
I'm gonna bring Grandma on the pod. Was there ever a season of me or Jordan's life where you were worried the most about us?
Oh God, I think when it came into the teenage years.
Okay.
The preteen years of you.
I missed them years.
And the preteen years of Jordan and the actual teenage years where I didn't know. And I tell people that all the time that has boys, I didn't know that you guys were gonna change. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. As from my little boys to, getting ready to turn into men. And so your bodies were changing, your hormones, your mind, your thought process, all of that stuff was changing male wise. And as a female, I didn't know how to deal with that. I was like, oh my God, what is wrong with them? You became more rebellious. Jordan just came more distant.
Like he was just weird.
He was just very
he was just weird.
He's my peculiar kid. Hey, Jordan. So yeah, you became more rebellious and like, oh, I wouldn't let you do a lot of stuff. You wanted to do everything, but I was so protective of you being hurt. You know what I'm saying? And I knew the neighborhood that we lived in, it wasn't violent, you know what I'm saying? Because that was my neighborhood that I grew up in. But just you being protected by peer pressure, because you were in between of I love church, but now I want to see what the streets are like, And I was like, oh no, I don't want my boy to be, because everybody, I grew up in the hood with the fellas in the streets, and so most of them were dope boys, and so I was like, no, I don't want my boys to experience that. And so I was very, very fearful and wanted to very protect y'all from the things that I saw growing up on the West Side. I wanted you to just stay in church, but you had to have that part of your life where you had to experience, what it was outside of church, and I think I'm grateful for that part that you did experience, because we ain't raising no punks around here, but
Absolutely.
But definitely you guys as teenage years and like how your friends want to influence you over my influence, and then now as adults, I think I pray harder. I really
can see that, especially with what I be calling you by.
Oh my God. I pray hard as you guys are adults, because you're not where I can see you all the time. Even though we're 5 minutes from each other,
Yeah.
You know, we don't see each other every day. We don't talk every day. And Jordan is way where he is. And so I'm like, as a mother, you want to know that your children are protected, especially with things going on with our young Black males. You want to know that your boys are safe. I think that's the most important thing. And that they're making right choices without you, you know. So yeah, it's
two things that come to my mind while you was talking. One, and I've shared this on my ministry's platform, but I think we've talked about it, but we can sit down and unpack it in this space, is how growing up, my mama's concept of dating for her boys was no girls, and if you have sex, your wee gonna fall off. Don't bring you did. Don't bring no babies in my house, and no, you ain't grown, and you know, just what you expect a single Black mother to say. But most people who get that see the hypocrisy side of it. Like they see their mama saying no sex, but their mama got this going on or that going on. I never saw you date. And I was talking about that one time on my live. Is my pattern for dating was, I knew I liked the little girl, you know, I buy flowers, take on a date, but never having seen my mama wind and dine was something that as an adult, it was just like, well, why did my mama, you know, never date? Or if you did, you never exposed us to that. I just remember one day you came home with Jordan Daddy, and I was just like, well, what is happening here? He's moving in. There's a wedding. What's going on? Ill. Thank God I never witnessed Jordan's conception, because I think I'd be scarred.
You are so funny.
But dating, why did you feel like you didn't need to date? You didn't want to date? Why? What was your dating life as a single mother?
Well, after
I know you had husband. She never dated, but somebody, there was always a maintenance man around.
You are, boy, please don't even try. Don't even go there. Listen, I'm telling you, after I had you, I got pregnant with you when I was in college. After I had you, you know, your grandmama had you a lot. So I did do a few, you know, I dated a little bit before I got saved. When I got saved, I was 27. I think you were like 4 years old, maybe 5, I believe.
I thought you had me at 19.
I had you at 21.
Oh, okay. I'm telling the story wrong. Okay, go ahead.
I had you at 19. I was still acting the fool. Oh, yeah. Anyway, flashback. So anyway, but after I had you and got saved, you know, once again, diehard holiness, diehard Pentecostal, everything that was embedded in me as a child coming up in the Pentecostal church got re-embedded in me after I got saved. And I just kind of gave myself over to the ministry. And I think that was my safe haven. You know what I'm saying? And I always felt like, well, God will send me a husband. You know, God will send me a husband. But I had men pursuing me, but I just was like, oh no, I don't want to mess up. You know, I don't want to displease God or dishonor God. And I don't want to dishonor my mama's, you know, reputation and her name as a pastor.
Gotcha.
And so I just gave myself over to the ministry, doing everything. Of course, you know that, from everything to everything in the church. What if there was a job in the church, I had it, you know. And so I think that took so much of my life. And now that I look back on it, like I should have had you know, opened myself up to date. So I could have married the right person. And had a longevity marriage, because I love longevity marriages. Like I have friends that have been married 20 and 30 years. And I always thought about, you know, why wasn't that me? You know what I'm saying? So it was just me choosing. And then sometimes I felt like I was made, you know, to give myself over to church, you know, not doing certain things because of the church and how I was raised.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I look back at that sometimes and think,
Grandma ran a strict program.
grandma ran a real strict program. And I think it was because grandmama wanted that for herself. And I just kind of followed that pattern, of her wanting to be, a pastor and wanting to obey God and wanting to keep her body pure and all, everything. And so I just kind of followed that pattern. And I always said, well, God kept me.
Yeah.
And He did. He did, because you got to want to be kept.
You got to want to
be kept. Yeah.
He'll keep you. Oh, God, He'll keep you. That's my next question. He kept you, and then you got married again. Now, I also say this.
You are so funny.
I tell this testimony too. Me and my mama went through a divorce at the same time.
We did. How about that? We need to break that generational curse. Oh my God. Well, there would be no more divorces in our family.
Oh God.
Because everybody in our family has been divorced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some of us more than once.
Yeah, of course. I'm on 2. Your Uncle Eric on
3.
2 or 3.
Hopefully I'm
2. He's
one
on
and
2.
done.
Yes, let's make you one and done.
One and done.
Let's pray that Jordan and Leah and Ari. Let's pray.
I felt like you. I couldn't fathom for the life of me why. Well, I know what messed me up in my marriage. I'm old enough now to understand that and acknowledge that. However, when you went through your divorce and you came back, I remember Grandma was like, your mama back now. She can help you with the ministry. God done sent her back to Valdosta. She gonna help you do this and that and third. And when you came back, you was like, I don't want to do anything. Like, I just want to come. I want to be poured into. I want to reset. For a Black woman going through that space mentally, how was that going through that transition of divorce, for the second time? We don't have to get into what happened, but just being in that space, that time of transition, how was that for you? And what was it that kind of helped you get back to a sense of normalcy?
It mentally, like you said, when I came back, I was just not mentally prepared to do anything, because I was still trying to figure out life that I knew was over. Being a wife, and having a husband, all of that part was over. And so how do I get back into being single again? And, finding myself, who I really am. I just, sometimes I think that I'm still trying to, grasp the terms or get myself back on track with that, because some days I want to be married again, and some days I'm like, I don't know, as a single woman, as a woman of faith, my relationship with God, also my relationship with you all, my family, y'all pulled me through a lot. And I can say, like, y'all were literally there to make sure. My brother still calls me every day to make sure I'm mentally okay. My sister calls me every day to make sure I'm mentally okay. And so I think family, surrounding myself with people that I know love me for real. Because when I got married, there were people that I thought loved me that literally turned their backs on me. Friends, I'm talking about friends. And then I'm like, I'm just getting married. You know what I'm saying? And then when I came back, there were people that embraced me that I never would have thought would have embraced me and say, sis, you're going to be all right. I got your back, and people that I didn't even fool with that came to me and the Holy Spirit let me know that they're coming out of a pure heart and they love you for real. And so it was surrounding myself with people that loved me for real and able to receive that love, and then allowing God to show me, who I am, what I mean to Him, and just healing me, just because sometimes we don't allow God to heal us. We think I'll just jump back in. That's why I wasn't really ready to jump back into preaching and praise and worship, because I'm like, I'm up here. I'm not going to be any good. As much as I love to sing and worship, you know what I'm saying, and give myself over to the ministry, I just was not in a space to just say, let me get over these people with my broken self, or with my angry self, with my cousins, everybody else self. You know what I'm saying? Let me get myself together. And so a lot of that came from you guys just really loving on me, and just me allowing God to heal me, and saying, okay, this didn't work out again.
Yeah.
What am I crazy, God?
Yeah,
why I can't keep a man?
Is it me, Lord? What is going on?
Yeah.
And that also opens up a way of depression, because you really be thinking like, is it me?
Yeah, for sure.
I've come to grips with the fact that I might be the problem, though.
And when you acknowledge the fact that you may be the problem, that's when you start looking to God for solutions. Like, I know that I'm the problem, God. So what is it about me that I can't sustain a long-term relationship, whether it be friendships or whether it be relationships with, somebody that you potentially want to marry? What is it about me? Why can't I, and I noticed that, with me, I still had, when I first got married to Brooke, I was like, oh, I still had a single woman's mentality. Even though I went to every women's conference that was teaching us how to submit to husbands.
Yeah.
And I was at every women's conference there was, you know what I'm saying? And I think I was groomed well to know how to love a man and submit, as fit unto the Lord. But I still had a single woman's mindset, to where when it came to certain stuff, I didn't want to hear that from my husband. I didn't know how to submit to, okay, so you want to do what with my money? Okay, so you gonna do what with this toothpaste? You know what I'm saying? So where do you normally put your shoes? And so a lot of that is submitting to one another's differences, and I tell people that all the time, that, his relationship with his mom was not good. And I didn't know how to deal with that, because I've never had that. I've always been very close with my mom. We've always been, like you say, a close-knit family. And for me to marry into someone that did not really have a good relationship with their mom, I thought that was crazy. I'm like, how do you not have a good relationship with your parents? Your mom, especially, so I didn't know how to deal with that. That irritated the crap out of me. Like, y'all got to get it together.
Yeah, not for real.
Yeah.
I know, me and Evie was having, I ain't gonna say we was arguing. I think we was having a disagreement. And I mentally processed that she was trying to call me a mama's boy, but she wasn't. But I was on the fence like she was, and I was like, I know you're not coming at my relationship with my mama. And she was like, no, that's not what I'm saying. She's like, I love your relationship with your mama. Like, it lets me know how you would treat me as a woman because of how you treat your mama. She's like, that's not what I'm saying. And I said, oh, because you better make it clear. I was like, because about my mama, I'll rock your head. Like,
oh yeah, we ride or die.
That's what we're not about to do. And so with my relationship with you, even when we had our disagreement a couple weeks ago, she was like, I don't like you not talking to your mama. I don't like you not talking to your mama. And I said, I talk to my mama. And she was like, y'all need to talk. I said, we'll talk. I'll call at some point.
Yeah.
I said, I'll see you at some point in this Christian journey. We'll cross paths. But it's like, I'll never be comfortable with me and you not being tight.
Oh, for sure.
Or not having a relationship, because I remember the days that I caused you tears, and the days that I remember one night you was like up crying, and
don't make me cry.
Okay, I won't make you cry.
Make me cry.
And you was, and I didn't know what to say, so I just came and sat on the sofa with you. I remember, you really putting work in for our family to be sustained. People say most men want a woman like their mom, and I say I don't, because I saw my mama do so much that I don't ever want to put my wife in that position.
Wow.
And I made that mistake in my first marriage of I got married for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But now that looking at it at retrospect, it's just like I don't want to put a person in the position that I've seen my mama put in. So my relationship with you is just like it means a lot to me. And though there have been moments where I feel like, dang, you know, I'll never have that with my dad.
Yeah.
It's like, but I got a great mama.
Oh wow. Well, I appreciate it.
You know, you have your days.
I have my days.
For the most part.
I really do.
For the most part. you be all right. You be all right.
But the foundation of our relationship has always been love. Since the day you were born, I've always said, you know, your grandma tried to take you. Well, she literally kind of took you from me a little bit. But I was like, no, he's mine. You know, he's mine. And she's like, no, you know, he mine. I say, he's mine. He's mine. You know, I would sit up at night and just literally watch you sleep because you was so you were a good baby, and you were so pretty. Like, I know we're not supposed to say boys are pretty, but you was a pretty baby, and I was just watching him sleep. I'm like, he's really mine. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have to share you with anybody like a dad, and so that was. And all honesty, that was fine with me. I'm just being honest. That was fine. I didn't have to share you with nobody. I didn't have to worry about you going to somebody's house being contaminated. And when you come back, I got to restart, you know, reset your button all over again. Yeah. So, because you stayed with us and, you know, we imparted into you what the values and, you know, things that we wanted. And so I didn't have to worry about a daddy saying, are you coming home acting like your daddy? And then when Jordan's dad was part of his life, I'm like, okay. Now we got to get Jordan out of it. You know what I'm saying?
No, right.
I'm like,
he come back acting like them butlers. He
come back acting like them butlers, you know. But I think I was very selfish on that part when it came to you. Like, no, I was glad I didn't have to share you with no. I'm just being honest. Yeah. I was glad I didn't have to share you with anybody. And even with mom, you were like, you were her. She was Lima's and you was her blanket. And so she was dealing with a bad marriage when I got pregnant with you. And when I had you, her marriage was even worse by the time I had you. And so when you came along, it was just her focus turned towards you. And I was like, that's my baby, you know. And I think I regret sometimes, a lot of times, allowing her to kind of take the step that she had over your life, you know, instead of me being that person. But I know that you and I have always had our own little thing. You know what I'm saying? We've always had our own mother-son relationship that nobody can shake, you know, and I realized that, okay, she has her relationship with him and I have my relationship with him. Because at one point I was like, she's just trying to take my baby. And then during your teenage years, I was like, oh, you know what? She can have him. Because she's creating a monster that I don't really care about. Yeah. No, come on and get him.
And then that's when she wanted to push me off on you.
And then she's like, no, you his mama. And you got to raise him. And you know better. I said, but I'm trying, but you won't let me, you know. And you was like, I'd rather stay with grandma. Yeah. But then you was like, no, I want to go home with my mama. Like,
it wasn't no freedom at grandma's house. At least you was going to work. So if I could sneak somebody in here and there.
And every time I watched one of your podcasts, you've always talked about sneaking people in my house. Lord have mercy.
You know, God is faithful.
He is.
That back door came in handy. That back door came in handy. All right, I'm almost done. Has there ever been a time that I hurt you and you didn't tell me, or I didn't know about it?
Not to my knowledge. I remember you and I having I don't know if you were in elementary school or you were in middle school. You know, that middle school phase was awful. That you said, I just hate her. I hate my mama. Grandma hate us, you know. You just went through that because I wouldn't let you do something. I kept taking your phone or something like that. Oh, yeah. They bought you a phone, and I was like, "He don't need a phone." That phone intensified every demon that you had. But anyway, I was like, "Oh, he just hurt my feelings when he said he hated me." But then I thought about the times that Mama wouldn't let me do what I wanted, so those words came out of my mouth, and they were my thoughts as well. I'm like, well, if you're not a parent at some point, if you don't get
told that
I hate you or I don't like you. And it's not that you don't like the parent, is you don't like the choices that they are making for you. You know, you want to do your own thing. And I think that's what it was. But no, for the most part, when me and you fall out, we're alike.
Yeah.
You know, we're so much alike till we don't hold back. I'm telling you, because the last time, them couple of weeks ago, I refused to say, and it almost came out of my mouth, and I almost said, you know what, I'm done with Jerry. I'm done. I ain't lying. But the Holy Spirit wouldn't let it come out because he knew in my heart I wasn't done. It's just, he had to tease me off.
And I feel like you was wrong in that situation.
And I felt like you was wrong in that situation. And we never did come to a truce, but we know that love is the foundation.
Absolutely.
And that we love each other regardless of the decisions that we make.
All I'm gonna say is, you said it in the presence of all these witnesses. Grandma got me as a kid. I don't know why these new age grandparents don't be wanting to get their grandkids. You only got one.
Because I don't want you to make the mistake that I made, as in missing out on time that you could have with your daughter, that you're going to probably one day say, wait, when did this happen? You know what I'm saying? And when did that happen? And as a father of a young lady, as you trying to raise a daughter, even though I don't know how that feels to raise a daughter, but I know how it feels to be a daughter that doesn't have an active father. So those moments are precious. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I feel like, what? He always thinking about Jeremy now. I'm need him to start thinking about Jeremy and Leia because y'all a package. And that's my thing was like, anytime if a man approached me before I had Jordan, he automatically knew that me and you was a package. You know what I'm saying? There was no, oh, I like you, but your son, I remember somebody telling me that one time, your son, he too grown. He talk like a grown person and he say too much. Okay. Don't call me again because we are packaged. You know what I'm saying? And if he talks too much for you, I'm sorry.
Can't help you.
I can't help you. I can't, because we are as one. I won't reject my child or neglect my child for anybody. I don't care who that is. And so I think that's another part of me not dating for years because I wanted to protect y'all from anybody because at growing up, we didn't have that covering from our stepdaddy that we should have had. We didn't have that from him. We didn't have the love that we should have had from him. We didn't have the father figure that we should have had from him. And so I was refused to allow you guys to go through that. My first marriage, when he started acting crazy with you, oh, he really had to go. Oh no, because I didn't want to take you through what we went through. I didn't want you to go through none of those emotions that we went through, none of the fear that we went through. I'm like, oh no, my boy's not gonna experience any of that. And so when it comes to Leia, that's what I want you to be for her protector. I want you to know who she is and know everything about her as her father, and not have to learn that from me, where I had to learn some stuff about you from your grandma. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, that's why I'm like, no, get her. No, I love to with all my heart. I think I pray for her probably more than I pray for y'all because I want her to not experience some of the things that we went through as family, like some of the stuff that our family has gone through. I don't want her to experience, especially the things that the females in our family have gone through. And so I pray for her continuously. You know what I'm saying? I want her to be the good kid in school. And, I want her teachers to understand who she is, like they didn't understand who you were, But anyway, yeah, I love my two. I give my baby when I want to.
Exactly, when you want to. Now, even when you send me like old snaps of her as a baby, I'm like, man, I don't remember this, but I wish these days wouldn't have went by so fast. Oh yeah,
I'm telling you, they go by so fast. She's going to first grade, and it seems like we just
bought a home.
Yeah.
Like I remember bringing her home, and I tell every other time, like when Tiana went back to work, it was me and Leia from 8 to 5, and I missed them days because we slept till 2. We didn't get out the bed till 2:00.
And she still got that spirit.
Oh, thank God. Cause I'd give her bottle, put her in her little bouncer thing. We had no problems. Until I kept saying when she get older, she could travel with me. When she get older, she could travel with me. Now that she older, and she want to talk the whole ride.
I'm talking about
or she want to, Daddy, I'm hungry. Daddy, I got a potty. It's like, right now, you can't hold it. But I'm to that place now where, because I went to go buy some new suitcases, and she was like, I'm gonna get me a suitcase. And I said, well, you're not going with me. I'm not going with you. Me and my mama going out of town. And I said, where y'all going? We going to the airport too. I said, oh, well, excuse me then. But I want her to have those memories with her dad as well too.
Oh, for sure.
So I understand. And I have to also tell myself that when I receive feedback from you and grandma and auntie about me as a dad, it also comes from the perspective of women who have not had a strong father figure. So I have to receive that from a place of, we've been there, done that, we've lived that, and we don't want her to grow up with that absence.
We do not want her to grow up with that, especially when y'all in the same town.
I know, right down the street.
And she knows who you are. You've been there from birth, and she shouldn't have to say, well, I don't see my daddy. Or daddy didn't. That day when you was late for her pre-K graduation. Oh, yeah. She had the worst look on her face. She kept turning back and saying, Mama, where's Gigi? Where my daddy? I'm like, he's coming. And she was getting a little perturbed with you.
Some stuff she don't let me live down. You didn't come to my such and such. And I'd be like, Leia, I know your mama told you I had to be out of town, but you still didn't come. Yeah. And I'd be like, okay, I got you.
It means a lot. It means a lot.
So I'm going to ask you this. I got one more question, and then I'll let you go. So after 31 years of being a phenomenal mother, what parts of me do you still see the little boy that you raised? And then what parts of me do you look at me and say, only God could have did that? I know it's a loaded question.
So when I look at you and when it comes to the little boy, I think the side of you that still calls me and says, Mama, listen to what I got to say. Oh, Mama, I got something to say. Oh, Mama, like when you called me the other day and you said, hey, I got so tickled. You said, hey, I just need you to listen. I don't need you to talk. So right then I automatically knew that you were getting ready to tell me something that was really coming from your heart. And so I think as I got older, I learned how to listen to you more. Because as you were younger, it was always, okay, Jeremy, do what I say, do what I say. And you would always say, but I got something to say. And I was like, no, just do what I say, And I think sometimes I regret. That's why I listen to Leia when she says what she got, if she has something to say. But just you being able to still trust me with giving you advice. And sometimes I call you and I'm like, Jimmy, what you think about this? You know what I'm saying? That's the part that I say, oh my God, only God could have done this. Because when I can call my son and say spiritually, what do you think about this? Or I need you to tell me what God is saying concerning this, or I need you to pray with me concerning when we're prayer partners, because we do pray about a lot of stuff together. That's the part I'm like, man, God did this, because when I first moved back to Valdosta, one of my friends called me and she says, she said, I just had to call you and tell you, it was no mistake that you moved back home. She said, although, under the circumstances, but you and Jeremy just have this ministry together. And I said, really? I didn't want to hear that because I didn't want to hear anything about ministry. Right. I didn't want to hear anything about doing any work. I didn't even want to go back to work teaching. I just wanted to, I just went into this deep whatever, but just us being together and being able to come together as mother and son, spiritually connecting with each other, emotionally connecting with each other. I know God did that because there were times where we'll bump heads because we do act alike. Yeah. And so I'm thinking like, yeah, God did that. Yeah. And then you being just this independent person that goes from, Mama, give me $20, you know what I'm saying? to I don't get phone calls for money. Like if people say, "Oh, my boy, my kids want this." I was like, my boys don't call me for money. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's
exactly.
a good thing. I might say, "Hey, Jeremy, well, my cash app ain't dingling," and you're like, okay, but my boys don't call me for money, which makes me feel like that you guys have matured, because I'm always saying, don't make those mistakes financially that I made, or don't make those mistakes, emotionally that I made, or, making these type of decisions. And I'm grateful that y'all listen to that, because some of the stuff that I went through, every parent has that. Like, I don't want my kids to go through some of the things that I went through. So I teach them, or I tell them my testimony, so you won't have to go through those. And so I know that the maturity that I see in you, I know God did.
Oh yeah, especially when it comes to the maturity.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What advice would you give a parent that is raising a gift that they don't understand, or they have a child that is even ahead of their time, or just a young parent that's just looking to navigate this new season of life, leadership, love? What, as a mom, what advice would you give them?
As a mom that's raising children, and I think all children that are gifted, they have some type of gift. Children that are chosen, like you was, and I had no clue what to do. I would look back, and I look back at a lot of things and say that I should have done different, but I didn't know. And I didn't really know. And sometimes I still question God, like, who is Jeremy? You know what I'm saying? Who is he? Lord, what is this kid that you gave me that I have no clue, who he is and the gifts that he had? And a lot of people prayed over you and say, this boy is going to be this and he's going to be that. And watch over him and make sure you keep him, covered and this and this and that. And I would say to parents, continue to trust God with your children. And not only that, really pray and seek God about your children, instead of really thinking that the things that they do is just disheartening or not normal, because now we're throwing all of these, mental health or all these labels on these kids with the ADHD and the autism spectrum and this and that. These kids are really just gifted, and they don't know how they're leaders, and they don't know how to navigate their leadership abilities. So really seek God and pray concerning your children. God, what is this gift that you've given me, and how do I raise this gift? How do I nurture this gift? What do I do with it? You know what I'm saying? Or him or her, or this is what they're experiencing in God. So show me how to raise them, because all children are different. Your gift was different from Jordan's gift.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know how to, when Jordan came along, I'm like, what is this kid? You know what I'm saying? And with you, who desired to preach and desired to give yourself over to God, I felt like I had to cover you more, where I was lacking covering Jordan. And then, he was doing crazy stuff. And I'm like, oh my God.
God, yes.
Is he?
Can't wait to get Jordan on the podcast.
It's like, oh my God. Is he really doing this? But anyway, not to tell Jordan's business, but, I felt like I had to cover you so much, because you were going out into the world, and everybody was really just like at you. People were at you for different reasons of your gift. People were at you because they didn't like you. And so I was like that mother, that lioness mother, like, oh, don't bother with, don't bother my boys. You know what I'm saying? And so I think parents really, really need to sit down and listen more to their children. I think I failed that as a parent, to really listen more to your children, see what they have to say, see how they feel, because a lot of times we just exit their feelings as if they're being grown or they're being disrespectful. And you really, because as a teacher, I see it all the time. The kids tell me, my mama don't listen to me.
Yeah.
My mama, my dad don't listen. You know what I'm saying? And so as a teacher now, I see it differently. I see how kids react when their parents don't listen to them, and then they show out at school, or they tell us all their business because the parent won't listen to them. Yeah. So
that was good. Well, Mama, we done. Let's clap it up for my mama being in the Culture Shock studio today. I'm so thankful for your wisdom. I'm thankful for your nuggets. Glad we was able to do this segment today. And I ain't got no money for you, but I love you.
I love you too. And I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm very proud of the man of God that you are becoming and have become. I'm very proud of the father that you are. You're still learning. Give yourself some grace as a father because you're going to learn something different every year as she gets older. And I try to tell her mama that don't use all of your stress out cards in kindergarten because you're going to need them. Absolutely. You're going to need some stress out cards to have left in middle school and high school.
God, yes. I think that's what she's going to make Leia move in with me.
Yeah.
Become middle school.
Yeah.
I lost my train. Last thing, I'm done. I promise this is it. My mama was my first member, and she was the last to leave. That's loyalty.
That's loyalty. That's love and loyalty.
She was the first person I laid hands on. She was the last leader to give me her key. But she might have been, she know you. She was the first leader to give me your key, actually.
I was tired.
But she stuck around until I gave up the key. So thank you, Mom, for everything. For sure. Thank you again. All right, Culture Shock, please make sure that you are locked in, man. Y'all hit that follow button, subscribe. Let's stay connected. Make sure you comment. Let me know how you enjoyed today's episode. I love you. We'll see you next time on Culture Shock. Vulnerable right now. I'm about to weep.
Creative ways we ride all day. Let's go. Turn it up, don't stop. It's that culture shock drop. New voices in your headphone now. Big visions from a scribble notepad. From the block to the boardroom, see it. JL Stone about to make you feel it.
Ideas in the air like confetti. Every story in the room, stay ready. Press play, get pulled in slow. Then the beat hit hard when you feel that glow. Oh.
This is Culture Shock Pod with JL Stone.
Where the culture talks back.